on to you Aries out here? So for you Aries, you actually have the Ten of Pentacles, excuse me, the King of Pentacles, the Emperor, and then you have the Hanged Man. So that's my dog over there. You know she's a diva. Anyway, so for you Aries, y'all are in a place where for you, a lot of you Aries are actually in tip-top control. The King of Pentacles speaks to you at the height of your money. The Emperor, the Hanged Man, the height of your patience. Definitely at the height of your patience. A lot of you Aries may have a lot to manage right now because the Emperor. The Emperor is Aries in the major arcana. And then you have the Hanged Man. What's up? We'll hang out later. We'll hang out later. We'll go. Don't worry. I promise we're going to kick it a little bit later, right? And so then you have the Hanged Man, which represents patience. So a lot of you Aries are like, you have a lot to be thankful for, but you also, those things that you're thankful for, you have a lot to manage, right? The more you have is the more you have to manage. That's why the king needs to be wise. The emperor needs to be wise because, well, the empress too needs to be wise because you got all this land. What makes, and I've talked about this before, what makes a person a king is real estate. What's made people traditionally kings is real estate. They have all this exorbitant amounts of land, and everybody else is pretty much living on the land, and they're landlords, basically. And so what's happening here with you, Aries, is that y'all are in a place with, okay, y'all are in a place where for you, Aries, you have like I said before, right? It's the same concept. When you have a lot to manage, it's good that you have it, but at the same time, you have to be accountable for it. You have to maintain it. You have to take care of it. You have to grow it in certain cases. You have to do right by it. And so a lot of you Aries right now, again, the Emperor and the Hanged Man, being very careful, being patient, concentrating, figuring out what you've got going on. And then you have the Two of Wands and the King of Swords. So the Two of Wands and the King of Swords right here it represents how y'all are in a position where, and a lot of you just can't allow people to get close who just wants to be on some jealous stuff, to get close to you, watch you, see you get upset, and then stay far away from you to be like, I don't know what happened. Because people will watch you get upset and then be like, oh, no. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh. Hold on. I told y'all that my dog is a diva. Love her. But my dog wants all the attention from me. She's a diva. I love her. She knows I love her. You know what I'm saying? And she loves me back. You know those type of people that dogs fixate on? I'm the one, basically. And we love each other. But the thing about it is that, she wants all my attention, all of my attention. Even when we go out in the street, I take her for a walk, wants all my attention. Anyway, so the King of Swords right here for you, Aries, represents how y'all are in a place where for you, what you Aries have got is that you are just paying attention to what you have. A lot of you Aries feel like you're grateful for what you have, no doubt. But you also have to be wise in your decisions. You also have to make good chess moves. And so the situation with that is that you have the Ace of Wands and the Moon card. So these two cards right here for you, Taurus, also is about how y'all are in a place where the Ace of Wands and the Moon is about how you're doing your thing responsibly, right? You're doing your thing responsibly. But the moon card also is about self-reflection. So there's a heavy amount of like you Aries needing to be by yourself. If you're not by yourself, you need to be by yourself. You need to spend a little bit of time by yourself if you're not already doing that. If you already are, good, you're ahead of the curve. You need to just concentrate on the fact that what you've got going on and what you want to do. Some of you Aries may want to grow what you have. Some of you Aries may figure you're good, or maybe you should stop, or maybe you should downsize. Regardless of the who or what, it doesn't matter. The point is the Emperor, paying attention to what you've got going on. The Ace of Swords also represents you have no time for bickering and arguing. The bickering and the arguing can get you caught up. The bickering and arguing can get you in a messed up situation or disposition. You don't want to be in that type of space, right? Where you so distracted, bickering and arguing with friends and love and romantic interests or potential romantic interests, or family members and stuff like this, that you got other things that's falling apart that you have to attend to, right? And so this is why wisdom is so key. Everybody want to talk about understanding, right? Putting foot to behind and all of that. Okay, but you put foot to behind when it comes to addressing your situations and handling it. The wisdom is where it comes from, right? The wisdom is where it comes from. The understanding is where it is that you put into action, but the wisdom is when you think of what to create. And then you have the Kether. This all happens from the Divine One, aka the Most High, aka where your soul is. Kether, or the Most High, is your soul. This is where your soul resides, and then beyond. There's stages beyond even that, but this is where your soul resides. This is where your wisdom comes from. This is where the physical actions, first and foremost, if you can get here, most people will never get to here. Most people will never get to here. But if you can get to here and get through this and then get to here, most people on earth never get to this point. They get to things happening with them. They never address the situation. They continue to be ratchet. They never make a real actual change. They just fake that they do. Continuing to spiral out of control. Their life is. Then when you get to here and here, that's where that rest here, all the realm of the animal. This is where it is. These three and beyond is where the real power is. These three is called the supernal three, or the supernal triangle, supernal three, the super three, the supreme three. Point that I'm trying to make here with that is, you Aries paying attention to what you got going on, is the best thing for you Aries to do. A lot of you Aries have that wisdom. And see, the wild part about it is that Aries has wisdom. If you've ever, I don't know if y'all ever done this, but if y'all ever studied Roman or Greek mythology, right? Aries has wisdom. It's just that Aries has to put things into its perspective, right? Look at it like strategy. Look at it like a chess game. Look at it like that, right? Something to be won, had. The spoils, right? And one of the best ways to do that, that's one of the best ways to be strategic. So think about stuff like that. Think about why, needing patience and studying and thinking about things is very important. Turn your TV off, turn your phone off, turn your computers off. Don't do it with any kind of social media or plug-in. Sit in your room, go out for a walk, do what it is that you do. Sometimes I don't even take my phone with me sometimes. Sometimes I really don't. Of course, I don't know when. It's completely random. But sometimes I don't even take my phone with me outside. I just, whatever, right? And then you have the Scorpio energy, and then you have the Tower. So Scorpio back to back, right? Scorpio is also ruled by Mars as well. So a lot of Mars energy up in here. And why this is so important is because this is things that used to matter to you now being torn down. So it's so there's a lot of perceptions that you Aries have, thinking that y'all are in a place being wrapped up or whatever, and it's not happening because you Aries feel like you are changing, and you are changing. Things are changing for the better. So a lot of what's changing is that for you, the things that you, like I said, that you used to pay attention to is not working anymore. You don't care. Let's clarify the Tower card. The Hangman, Queen of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and then you have the Nine of Cups. The Hangman, the Queen of Swords, and the Eight of Swords represent how a lot of you are in a place where a lot of you Aries, again, you already have the Hangman, right? So now that those perceptions that you once have had about how things work are being taken away, and you see things in reality, because that's what the Tower card represents. It represents like old perceptions of how things are, power and paradigms ending, and how things once were is not how it is anymore. And now it's a time of people taking power. And so the thing about it is that the Hangman, the Queen of Swords, and the Eight of Swords right here represents how a lot of you are in place where for you, Aries, this is more so, my dog ain't getting into mischief. Anyway, this is more so about how you, Aries, like I said, y'all are focused on like taking care of yourself, and you're more inner focused. And then you have the Eight of Swords, right? Right? Not having the time or the tolerance to socialize like that, unless they really have something valuable to tell you. They drop gems. They actually know what they doing. They practicing what they preaching. They got to get out of the way, because it does become like that, where it's like it's at a point where you will get to a point where people talking to you about nonsense. That's why I can't. That's why I don't. There's a lot of people that I could be hanging out with on the block. I don't I don't do that anymore. The reason why is because there's nothing that they can tell me that I'm interested. Nothing that they can tell me that I'm interested. I don't care what you got going on. Well, I can't even talk about it, but I got this. So like my mind is on numbers. You understand what I'm saying? Math, money. My mind is on how to legally make that. Like what you got going on, like I don't care. I don't care anything about what you got going. And in real life, it happens like that, because it's like what they've got going. Like, what am I going to tell people? Like, I invest in stocks, and you know what I'm saying? I got a YouTube channel. Like, y'all are my new family. What am I going to tell these people that know me, like close proximity? Like, what am I going to tell them? There's nothing that they can tell me or I can tell them that's going to relate. You know how many times I done told people to read? They don't want to. If they don't want to read, what am I going to do about that? Right? And so it gets to a point where, once again, right, the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Cups, right? You are on a different level. You've got your own thing going on. It's lonely because of the fact that there's not many people that actually understand you who's about something. So they You know, unless you hanging around them because they have their ears close to the streets. You know, and they tell you some stuff. They in your ear giving you game as to what's going on and keeping you up with the latest news and all of that. But then again, too, you still have to bless the streets yourself and see what's going on with your own two eyes. You feel me? If you know, you know. I might delve deeper into some game on that one later. But that's it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get the YouTube channel to 100K. I'm at 26,563. These numbers are going by so fast. Thank y'all very much. Really appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever it is that I drop my videos. If you Aries want to come through and get a personal reading from me, come through. The link to that is in the comment section below, called the Linktree link. Peace. Have a good one, y'all.